Hello, Internet. Just wanted to pop on just to calm any fears that although this is being released in February 2021, most of this, not this bit obviously, this was filmed in February 2021, but the bit that you're about to see was filmed in January of 2020 before COVID, okay? Hello. Right, this video is all about cosplay, which I know nothing about, and I mean nothing. I'm 42, I know nothing about cosplay. Nothing. Okay, but Rhi does know about cosplay. Mm-hmm. So this is the second time I've shot with Rhi, and second time in my house, which is quite unusual. So we met through the same website that everyone else meets through for photography and modelling. But you're a cosplay. Would you call yourself a cosplay model, or would you call yourself a model that has a heavy lean towards cosplay?
I would call myself a cosplayer that has started to dabble in modelling.
Okay.
So my passion for modelling came from cosplay modelling at conventions and with photographer friends, and it was through realising that I had fun posing as characters that maybe I'd have fun posing as myself as well.
Okay, right. So how long have you been, because you're quite young anyway, so how long have you been cosplaying?
So I'm 19 at the moment, and I started cosplaying as a young person would consider cosplaying, as in throwing a wig on with no makeup whatsoever, when I was 13.
Okay.
But that could hardly be considered cosplay, because I didn't even use a wig at the time. It was like my own hair when I had hair, with a little bit of colour spray in it, no makeup, and I thought I was like the bee's knees. But I did my first convention in 2016 after I'd been playing around in my house for a little while with actually wigs and some decent Maybelline crappy makeup. And I've been doing conventions ever since. Okay,
so how regular are the conventions? Are they sort of every couple of months? Or?
Every couple of months. Yeah. So the big ones in London and Birmingham happen. Well, the one in London is 6 months apart, and then the one in Birmingham comes in between those breaks. And then there are smaller cons in little towns like Brighton, in Worthing, anywhere that there's a decent gathering of people. There's usually a convention in an assembly hall somewhere. Okay. And then other cons like CooperCon I actually volunteer at, which is specifically for Final Fantasy fans, and there are other conventions based around specific fandoms.
Right, okay. Are there... So you showed me a number of the... So what's going to happen today is that Rhi's going to apply a makeup as a particular character, which is Todoroki, and that's the end of my knowledge. And so what are the... I mean, there's a massive amount of TV programs and games that things could be based on. Are there particular ones that people hone in on, or is there a real spread amongst everything?
So there's something called a meta within the cosplay community, which is a specific fandom or a specific show that at this current time is hugely popular. Right now it is Boku no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia in English, which is what Todoroki is from. On things like Instagram, TikTok and other social medias, it's the thing at the moment. Everyone knows about My Hero Academia. It's one of the biggest things that you could be known for right now. The other things like that are Miraculous, there's Steven Universe, big things in the meta. But I mean, cosplay can be from anything. If there's a character specifically, then it's considered cosplay. So you can do it from everything, but there's not a huge demand for characters from smaller shows, such as the Tales of franchise or the earlier Final Fantasy games. There's no demand for the characters, so your reach won't be as big, so it's not considered part of the meta.
Okay, and how long do the ones that are in at the moment, how long does it last before it becomes a bit old?
It's tricky to say, because My Hero Academia has been in the meta for a long time. But something like Haikyuu used to be in the meta for a long time, and now it's kind of died.
What do you mean by in a long time in that context? So
My Hero Academia, I want to hazard a guess, has been in the social media meta for about 8 months.
Okay.
And it's still pretty strong.
Right.
But it could die tomorrow. It could keep going for several months, maybe a year from now.
What causes it to die? Is it just something else comes along which...
Something else overpowers it. Yeah. So there could be a new show that's come out so there's a big thing for something called Has Been Hotel right now.
Okay.
I'm not personally a fan of it, but a lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon. So for all we know, in a couple of weeks' time, Has Been Hotel could take over BNHA, and it could be old news.
So presumably it doesn't happen cyclically, because if it were based on American TV shows, then they all come out in September.
Yeah.
So they're kind of, there's a pretty good, August is a bit of a lull, and there'll be a load of new characters, but I don't know if it happens. Most of them are going to be Japanese, presumably.
Yeah, a lot of could be American, because a lot of them are Western TV shows.
Okay.
But most of them do come from my knowledge and the area of cosplay that I'm from. Most of them are Japanese shows from anime, from manga. So that's what BNHA is from an anime.
Gotcha. And just, I'm pretty sure I know this, but just so manga is the comic book form, anime is the animated form,
That's
isn't it?
the one.
That's the same thing. Okay. This goes way back to one of the things that you'll learn about me is that I grew up with film. It's like in my blood. And one of those ones that, so the very first anime, before it was even called anime, that I got anywhere was Akira. And it's one of my favourite films. And I've been watching it I've been kind of looking at it for years, because it's been talking about a remake, and then there might be another remake, and then it exchanges hands, and it's been one of these things that over 20 years it's been through the hands of all sorts of different people. At one point it was going to be Leonardo DiCaprio when he was young enough to be either of the two characters in it, and it's, it sort of moves on, and that's how it works in the kind of the Western world. I think is that they try and grab onto the most popular one, but they spend so long doing it that it just fritters away.
It dies.
Yeah, but obviously things don't have that kind of life anymore. I mean, when Akira came out, I think it was the 80s. I think it was 87, and so it's just everything had a longer life at that point. So no social media.
There wasn't as much exposure.
No, exactly, and it's well, I suppose if something got out, then it really stuck into people, and hung around for years. But that just doesn't happen now. It's kind of you get 6 months. But does something that was in the meta, can it fall out and then come back?
It is possible. People do try their best to reawaken it.
Yeah.
I mean, its best hope is a remake of the show coming out, because otherwise people acknowledge that they're not getting recognition for what they're doing, and then they're more reluctant to bring it back out of their closet.
Gotcha.
But there's a big push on social media right now for haiku to come back into the meta. So people are bringing out their haiku cosplays again. It's like a community of people come together to try and bring something back.
Yeah.
Then it could happen.
Yeah.
But it's not common, but it is very possible.
Because the trouble is, the costumes and the makeup, it's not cheap, is it?
No, it's not cheap.
No, and the wig that for this character. So do you want to show us the wig? So we're gonna get to this, obviously. So we're gonna do a time lapse of the makeup application process. So, but this is a specific wig, isn't it? There's no other character that this can work for at the moment.
No, not right now. No. Just Todoroki.
Does that ever happen though, where kind of actually that's the same? I could use that.
Absolutely.
Right,
I mean, anybody with normal brown hair, like Yagami from Death Note, you can just restyle it.
Okay.
If it's not a wig that's taken hours to style or hours to dye, then it's just as simple as taking the styling out and doing it again.
Okay.
But for someone like Todoroki, who has such a unique hairstyle, there's nobody else to my knowledge that has half white, half red hair. So that is a wig for that costume. It's not multi-purpose. I'm more likely to buy a wig that is more expensive if it can be used for multiple people, as opposed to just when I want to use this character.
Okay. So this one, did you buy that as white and red?
I did, yes. Okay, this is the one that I bought as white and red.
Right, okay. But some people will get a more generic one and then dye it themselves.
Just dye it themselves,
okay. Right. Which seems like an awful lot of work in itself to get right.
It does, and I mean, I weighed up the material cost, and buying a wig and dye, or a wig and wefts, worked out just as expensive or more expensive than to just buy the ready-made Todoroki wig, which I got from Coscraft.
Okay, right. What's a weft?
A weft is the wig itself in little strands. So a wig is made up of wefts, and then you have the individual strands of hair, which is a huge strain, which has been sewn into what's called the wig cap, which is the bit that actually goes on your head if you turn the wig inside out. When I find the opening, camel. You can see how the wig is aligned up of the cap itself, which is all of these down here, and then the individual wefts here, which have been sewn through the cap until we get this.
Okay.
So you can add wefts, you can remove wefts, you can make a wig from scratch.
Gotcha. Okay.
Many things you can do.
And that's where the quality comes from, I suppose, isn't it? All the quality of that. And
yeah, it's mainly the quality of the cap.
Yeah.
The hair can either be synthetic, which means plastic, or human, which you don't usually use for cosplay wigs anyway. And then it's the quality of the cap and the quality of the wefts that make the wig as expensive as they're going to be.
Gotcha. Okay. So what we're going to do, and I say we, I mean Rhi, is apply the makeup and the look of Todoroki. So it's what it is basically. It's like a scar damaged eye, effectively, isn't it? So is the red on the same side as the red hair?
Yes.
Or is it, okay.
It's got a blue eye to make up for the extreme amount of red.
So that's why. So that's where the contact lens comes in. Okay.
Yes.
So what? You've got blue eyes there. So it's like proper blue eyes.
It's
full on blue.
Huge, bright blue eyes.
Oh, okay.
And
right. Okay.
The contact lenses that I use as well also make my eyes bigger, which adds to the anime style.
Okay. Right. So blue eye, red on which side? It's on the
red
right
on
side.
the blue side. On the blue eye, red hair, red scarf.
And it's on the left side.
Yes.
So
thank you for reminding me.
All red. Start doing the wrong eye.
Yeah.
And then it's fairly regular after that, isn't it? It's kind of it's all about the red eye and the scarring of the red eye. Which
and then it's just foundation. Make yourself look as flat as possible.
Okay.
Because that is anime.
Right.
And then carve your cheeks out, and then put the wig on and act like you've never smiled in your life, basically.
Oh, okay, right. And Rhi's really smiley, so we're going to struggle with this. Although the Rhi's a pro at this. You should check her out on all the places that she is. So it's Recast Anonymous.
It
isn't
is
it?
Recast Anonymous.
That's your name, and you're all over the place. You're on Instagram. You're on TikTok. Anywhere else?
I'm on Facebook, Twitter. Yeah. When I remember.
Pick your social media, they'll all be on the screen, and etc. So I think what we're going to do, we think this is going to take about an hour. So there's going to be a time lapse of the makeup application, so I thought that would be quite interesting. Incidentally, there's another video of that coming up, but not a character-based thing. So I've got a makeup artist who's going to come in, and we're going to do like a colour theme video where she's going to sort of have like a largely orange colour palette, and then we're going to sort of put together some kind of an orange set and do that sort of thing. So this is very character-based. And so I think what we're going to do is, after we've done the makeup application, we're going to do a bit of kind of profile shots and kind of or portrait shots rather, because part of it is the outfit that you've got as well. That I've seen that already because you were wearing it when you arrived. And then I think we're going to go out into the mean streets of Hayward Heath in West Sussex.
With a kettle burn on my face.
Yes, with a kettle burn on your face, which is southern England, by the way, for those of you who have no idea where we are. So we're like halfway in between London and Brighton. So it's like a small commuting town, so we're going to scare the shit out of the locals, I think. Can
you protect me from being stabbed?
No, you can't. No one gets stabbed here much. So it's...
Sorry, America.
I think we'll go out during the school run and get the full effect. Walk in front of some schools and and go from there. So we're gonna keep talking, but not from this shot. So see you in a bit.